Singapore City from the future. I remember the moment I first walked into gardens by the bay. The air smelled like orchids and clean rain. There I was, standing under a glowing super tree, while a local kid pointed up and said, "That tree makes electricity." In that second, I realized, Singapore isn't just smart, it's poetic. Even the cloud forest dome felt like stepping into Jurassic Park, minus the danger. Kyoto, where silence speaks. One morning, I got up at 5 a.m. to visit the Golden Pavilion. No crowds, just mist rising off the lake. Then, a heron landed right in front of me, and for a second, time froze. Later in Jian, a geisha passed me by. She didn't say a word, but the way she moved. It felt like watching a spirit from another era. Kyoto doesn't ask for attention. It earns your awe with silence. Venice, magic on water. The first time I got lost in Venice, I ended up in a tiny square where an old man was playing violin. Just him, a cat, and the sound bouncing off the stone walls. It felt like the city had chosen me to witness something special. That night, during Carnival, I wore a mask and wandered the foggy alleys. A woman in a red dress whispered, "Follow the music." I did. And I ended up at a masquerade inside a hidden courtyard. Like Narnia, but Italian. New York, where dreams don't sleep. I once watched the sun rise over Manhattan from the Williamsburg Bridge. Coffee in hand. Shoes soaked from rain the night before. A guy next to me just said, "Another day to make it." That's New York. One moment, you're stuck in the subway with a saxophonist playing Empire State of Mind. The next, you're crying under the Brooklyn Bridge because life feels big again. Hi Anne, lanterns and lost time. A woman in the market smiled as she handed me a lantern. "Make a wish and let it float," she said. I stood by the Thursday BNN River, candlelight flickering, and watched dozens of hopes drift into the night. That same evening, a sudden downpour forced me into a tiny tea shop. The owner told me, "In Hai An, when it rains, you listen to the past." And we did, over lotus tea and the sound of memory on rooftops. Rio de Janeiro, rhythm in your veins. I danced in the street during Carnival, barefoot, laughing with strangers. An old woman grabbed my hand and said, "Dance like you mean it. You're in Rio now." Later, I climbed Sugarloaf Mountain just in time for sunset. The city lit up like fire, and somewhere below, samba drums echoed from a block party I'd never find again. But that's Rio. It gives you moments, not maps. Dubai. Fantasy built in steel. At Burj Khalifa's 148th floor, I looked down at a city carved out of sand. A local told me, 50 years ago, this was desert and camels. Now look. Later that night, I sat in a souk sipping mint tea. Behind me, a man haggled over gold. In front of me, the Dubai fountain danced to Andrea Bocelli. Where else does tradition and sci-fi glam collide so perfectly? San Francisco, fog and freedom. I was walking along Lombard Street when the fog rolled in like a slow wave. I ducked into a little bookstore in Haighsbury, where a guy was reading Kerouac out loud. We ended up drinking coffee in North Beach, talking about life and aliens. San Francisco is that kind of place. Weird, warm, and wildly unexpected.